Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Hello, it's Brendon here from House of Noizz Radio in Auckland, New Zealand.
Great. Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Sebastian.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, not bad, not bad. We had to get up early this morning, but other than that, we're okay.
Oh, right on. Well, thanks for calling.
No problems, man, no problems. So, yeah, you ready to do the interview with us?
Sure.
Okay, I say us because I'm with Max Thrasher, who's also the host on the show.
Okay,
Hey,
cool,
hey, Sebastian,
man.
how are you doing?
Hey, Max. I like your
Hey.
name, dude.
Hey, thanks, I like yours.
Right on.
Awesome.
All right, okay, so we're ready to roll.
Yeah.
First question, what have you been up to lately, Sebastian? What's the latest in the world of Sebastian Bach?
In New Zealand, I guess the last time I was there was opening for Guns N' Roses at some gigantic stadium. That was back in 1992, maybe, or something, and so that's been a long time since I've been in New Zealand. I was kicked out of Skid Row in 1996, and then I did a solo album called Bring 'Em Bach Alive, which I don't even know came out there. It might have, it might not have, I don't know. And then I did 3 Broadway shows in a row. I did Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I did the Rocky Horror Show and Jesus Christ Superstar most recently. And I've been touring with my solo band since '96 all over the world, except for down under in New Zealand. I haven't been there yet. I hope to come there very soon. But I've just been touring in the United States and other countries as well. And I just put out my very first DVD called Forever Wild, which is in stores now. That's what I've been doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so could you tell us a little more about the DVD, please?
The DVD is a compilation of a live show filmed in Hollywood, California, with live renditions of like "I Remember You" and "Youth Gone Wild" and "18 in Life" and all those songs, and it's also got footage from my television show that I had on VH1, which is a rock and roll network here in America. Which is an amazing television station. But they gave me my own show a couple years ago, and it's got guest stars on the DVD, such as Ted Nugent and Vince Neil from Motley Crue, Joey Ramone, and Drea De Matteo from The Sopranos TV show. I don't know if you guys get The Sopranos.
Awesome. Yeah, we
down
do.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's an awesome show. So she got killed by Bruce Springsteen's guitar player, but she's still in my DVD.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we were just talking to Dee Snider, and he said he's got a show coming up on VH1 soon. So I hear it must be the channel in America, right?
Yeah, it's a rock and roll channel, and it gets huge ratings, and it's got a lot of heavy metal programming on it, which is pretty crazy. I don't know, there's a lot of metalheads out there, obviously, and it's a great station. I got another show coming up there on that channel called I Married Sebastian Bach, which is through my wife's eyes. And I also am doing a show for the BBC in London, England. I'm going to be living there for 3 weeks in January because they got a show called Rock School. And it's based on the Jack Black movie School of Rock.
Yeah.
And in the TV show, I play the teacher, so maybe you'll get that down in New Zealand. I don't
awesome.
know.
Yeah.
Hey, you've been working with the project called The Last Hard Man some time ago. What happened with that?
Yeah, that was with Kelly Deal from the Breeders and Jimmy Chamberlain of the Smashing Pumpkins and Zwan. And that was just like a collaboration between 4 very extremely different musical styles, and I don't know if that came out in New Zealand. It might have, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been in stores here. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a video from that record on the new DVD that you can check out. But that was actually like in 1996, so that was quite a long time ago.
Cool. Okay, you've been making some appearances with Vince Neil lately, and he's also on the DVD as well. You guys do a race car segment together.
Yeah. The loser of the race has to jump in a pit full of live alligators, and and I'm not going to tell you who loses, but You know, so one of the footage I wish we could have got was, I remember back the first time we played in Auckland, New Zealand, way long time ago, like in 1990. We played in Auckland, and me and Snake from Skid Row, we went bungee jumping right in the main part of town there. And I wish I could have had that on the DVD. But
Oh, wow.
that
Yeah,
was
cool.
a long. I don't really do that anymore, but back then I was young and dumb, so.
Hey, you were well, I'm originally from Moscow. I'm not a natural-born New Zealander. You know, I'm Russian actually, but I'm living and
Cool.
working in New Zealand now. I've seen you guys in 1989 at Moscow Music Peace Festival.
Oh, what a show
And
that
I was like 13 or something back then, and you were the reason why I wanted to be, you know, like rock journalist and rock musician and stuff. The
Oh,
Skid
that's
Row
cool.
blew my mind. I was like, wow,
Oh.
that's wild.
Yeah, oh, that was one of the great, you know, rock shows in history. It was Ozzy Osbourne and Bon Jovi and Scorpions and Motley Crue and Skid Row and Cinderella and there was so many bands, and it was also like it was before Russia. You know, it was when Russia was still communist, so that was pretty crazy. And and I remember that we came there and we were all excited to get like the Russian stamp on our passports. We're like, oh, it's gonna look so cool, and then. They wouldn't stamp it because they didn't really want a record of that the show between the two governments or something. They told me or something. So,
All right,
so I
cool.
didn't get the Russian stamp, but it was an awesome experience. I remember when all the Hell's Angels or the Bike Gang. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
Hell's Angels, but
The
they all
Night
came-
Wolves. The
Yeah.
Night Wolves.
They came down to the hotel where we were staying to meet Ozzy Osbourne, and there was like I don't know 2,000 or 3,000 or something, man. They surrounded the hotel, and I woke up and it was like all you heard was motorbikes for miles and miles, and they were all down and they were chanting Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy. It was crazy.
Wow, it's too cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man.
Okay, it's pretty definite that it's not very disputed that you're going to go down in history as one of the greatest vocalists of the late 80s, early 90s circuit.
Wow.
Generally
With
one of the greatest vocalists in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but you know, your prime, well, not your prime, but the biggest commercial success you had was maybe with Skid Row in the late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
What advice can you give budding vocalists?
Well, your voice is a muscle, and the more you use it, the better it gets. If you're using it properly, if you're singing without if you sing from the throat too much, then it'll decrease in range and power. But if you sing from the diaphragm, then you'll. I'm not talking about the girl's diaphragm. But then you'll actually improve over age, and I would recommend that they take vocal lessons definitely at a young age, and also I really learned on the Jesus Christ Superstar tour that I just finished that the more you sing, really the better your voice gets. Because I was doing 8 shows a week for 6 months, I never missed a show, and I didn't think that was humanly possible, but actually, your voice is an amazing instrument, and if you use it properly, it'll treat you very well.
So how did you feel singing Jesus Christ? I mean, Ian Gillan did it back in the days.
Yeah, Ian Gillan is one of my favorite singers, and he originated the role of Jesus Christ, and it was a very surreal experience. A lot of very weird things happened on the tour.
Like
and,
what?
Well, I mean, well, a lot of weird things. I guess the weirdest thing and the most strange and surreal thing that happened was I did the play for my dad because he was dying of leukemia at the time, and he was 58 years old, and he really loved that I was on Broadway and in Jekyll and Hyde and everything. That made my parents very proud. And so when he was dying, I was like, Dad, I'm going to be playing Jesus Christ. And he was so proud on his deathbed, right? And he was 58 years old, and he died of leukemia. And then he died in August, and we started in October. I had 1 month, and then we were on stage. I was playing Jesus, singing up to him, right? And my Judas was Carl Anderson from the movie, the original movie, Jesus Christ Superstar. And he was 57 years old, and I was on stage with him every night, and it felt like I was on stage with my dad the whole time, right? And then I left to play after 6 months, and a month later, it was discovered that he had leukemia, and he died at the age of 58 of leukemia, like my dad, like right as the play was going on, and he didn't even know he had it. It just like happened, you know, and I don't think you can get much weirder than that. I mean, to spend 8 shows a week, this guy, and if you watch the movie Jesus Christ Superstar, he's the original Judas, and it was very scary and strange, and he died the week that Passion of the Christ came out. Like that, like Sunday he died, and then Tuesday that movie came out, and it was very, I don't know, a lot of quite strange things happened on that tour. I don't know if you're supposed to be doing that story, really.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
let's. What about the happiest moment in your Broadway career? There, what would you have to say? What made you feel the best about being on Broadway? Like the happiest moment, was it on stage or off stage moment?
Well, no, it was really cool, like, because as you said, Skid Row was such a big success. We sold, like, over 20 million records worldwide, and, you know, a lot of artists find themselves in that position when they say, well, was that it? Was that the best thing, you know? And then to go from Skid Row to Broadway was a completely different thing, and I gained a lot of respect in New York City that I never would have had just as a rock and roller. It's an amazing thing if you're, like, the leading man on Broadway, how your life is when you're in New York City. It's really a cool thing. So it was really cool to do something on my own that was successful in its own way, other than Skid Row, because that was so big in and of itself. So that was, I'd say, the coolest thing about that.
All right. Cool.
And plus, the money was real good too. Other than that.
Okay. Now there's this website around called Metal Sludge. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah. That's.
What do you think of that? That site.
That's Stevie Rachel from a band called Tough. I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Oh
yeah.
right. Okay.
So I guess if you're a Tough fan, then you know you read it and believe with the guy. I was never much into the band Tough, so I don't spend much time on the Tough website. You know.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you want to go read what the guy in Tough says, to me that website's like a disgruntled postal worker website, like a guy who got fired and just sits in his house and bitches about all the people who actually have careers. You know, like I feel sorry for the guy, but you know, I was never much of a Tough fan. You know, so.
Righty. Okay, you're working with Ralph Santola, the former guitarist of Iced Earth now. How's that working out, Sebastian?
Well, that was really cool because we played in Stuttgart, Germany, actually Ballingen, right outside of Stuttgart, about a month ago. And it was the biggest show ever in my solo career. It was about 33,000 people, and we played with Queensryche and Children of Bodom and Alice Cooper and who else? Anthrax and Iced Earth and Testament and all these cool bands. And I was talking to Ralph after the show, and I was just asking him about his schedules. It was a schedule for this summer, and Iced Earth was free, so we started jamming, and we've done a bunch of shows here in the United States, and we're going to go do a record, and he is really a great songwriter, which is cool, and he adds a whole level of heaviness to the old songs as well, like Slave to the Grind and Monkey Business and all that, so. He's a real guitar player, and I really can't wait for you guys to hear the record.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to make this, when we broadcast this, we're going to make it the Sebastian Bach special.
Cool.
What song would you like to hear the most at the moment, in this point in the interview?
I'd say maybe Monkey Business from Slave to the Grind.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, done.
So we're going to put
Cool.
it in. We're just recording now. Basically, we're going to check the songs in when we mix the whole thing before we play it on there. Awesome. Get my question?
Yeah, what are your plans for the future, Sebastian? I see you're working with the band now. Are you just going to continue working with Sebastian Bach Band from here on in?
I think so. I just got asked to maybe join this really big band, another band. I'm not going to mention the name of it, but actually the show in Germany really kind of changed things for me because I just want to play in front of the big, huge crowds again. You know, that's what I like to do the best because that's where I come from. Big stage, big crowds, and to do that last month in Germany, and the crowd reception was so awesome. That was the first European festival I've ever done, and I want to do a lot more of those. I want to do, like, next year it looks like I'm going to be doing a ton of European heavy metal festivals, and that's really what I want to do, actually. You know,
it seems like heavy metal coming back, especially in Europe, with all these Scandinavian bands coming up, all these Children of Bottom and that kind of stuff you mentioned.
Yeah, and then Dimmu Borgir, however you say that.
Dimmu Borgir.
Well, Ozfest, man, is kicking ass in the United States right now. I just saw Judas Priest with Black Sabbath, and I couldn't even believe it. It was so incredible to see Rob Halford sing again, and he's one of my main inspirations, so...
Yeah, we interviewed Shagrath of Dimmu Borgir just a couple of months ago, and he was like, can I give us a sting, for the show? Like, hey, this is Shagrath, you're listening to the House of Noizz. He's like, nah, I don't do that, it's a commercial.
First ever to turn us down for a sting.
Yeah,
we were quite put out.
Oh.
They're a good band.
Yeah, we still like them.
That's funny.
Hey, Sebastian, have you heard Nikki Sixx's new project, The Brides of Destruction?
Yeah, I heard it a couple times. It sounded pretty cool.
Do you reckon they should have invited you to sing? I reckon they should have.
Oh, well, geez, I don't know. Maybe I would have... Actually, we talked about that before he put that together, but I don't know. We never got to jam together, actually.
Okay, what do you think about the nu metal scene out there, Sebastian? Are you do you like the nu metal bands, or are you?
I like Hatebreed. Rise of Brutality is my favorite new CD that came out last year, and actually the producer from that, Zeus, is tentatively going to produce my next record. We've been talking, and he's a really heavy producer. He's gets great sound. He just did the Shadows Fall record. And I also really like Slipknot a lot, although they kind of scare me.
Why?
They're scary looking, dude. It's like,
that guy with a dildo for a nose.
Yeah,
I'd be scared of him, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're pretty crazy looking, but they got a lot of energy, and to me they're kind of like the Kiss of now. If I was a kid, that's who I would be listening to.
All right.
So I think I like Slipknot and Hatebreed. I don't know if that's new or old or whatever. I don't know.
Back on Slave to the Grind, Skid Row kind of had this innovational sound, with this kind of heavy guitars than the usual this glam hard rock bands.
Right on.
Yeah. So
well, I'll go to my grave trying to top that record, dude, because I love the way that album sounds. And I'm always trying to top that one, so that's what I'm going in to do this fall in the studio, is to top Slave to the Grind.
You should play Slave to the Grind here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put it in here. All right.
Cool.
Okay. Now I saw a video of Monkey Business. It was live. It was on a. Man, it's floating around. It was live on some kind of Comedy Central or something like that.
Yeah, Saturday
many
Night
years
Live.
ago. Tell us the story of that. How did that come about? And how did you find it? I thought it was an outstanding performance by you and the band. You were really rocking out.
Thank you very much.
So it was Skid Row in its prime then, and just tell us a little about it.
I would say you're definitely on the money right there. That show, Saturday Night Live, is an American institution. It's responsible for, John Belushi and Bill Murray and Eddie Murphy and all these huge comedians. And, it started like in the mid-'70s, that show, Saturday Night Live. And it's really live. Well, actually, after Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction, it's probably not live anymore. But this was pre-wardrobe malfunction, America. So it was really live. And I remember Kiefer Sutherland was hosting the show that day. And right at the commercial break, there's a live audience obviously in there, and the whole country of America is watching, and he goes, okay guys, 20 seconds, 20, 19, 18, and it seemed like it was like 10 weeks, dude. That countdown. I was like, come on! I was like, let's go. And then he goes, 3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, Skid Row! And I was just like, let's go, dude. We are going to tear down the roof right now. And it was really live, so that's really cool, you know. I think that singing live, you know, is like a dying art, you know, because a lot of these kids think that, you know, all these American Idol and Next Idol or whatever shows, it's like karaoke, man, and that's not reality, you know. You gotta sing over the sound of amps and drums and do it for real, you know.
Like, hey, Sebastian, what's your favorite thing about rock and roll and heavy metal?
Well, once the sound and the rhythm of heavy metal gets in your blood, it's really hard to get it out, you know, like it's part of your soul, you know, and there's nothing like it. Like I've done Broadway and a bunch of TV shows, and that's all well and good, but there's nothing like rock and roll, like in your blood, you know. I mean, at least for me, nothing makes me feel like rock and roll makes me feel.
Awesome. Well, being the front man that you are, you know, you've got a lot of things like going for your stage presence for one, and also like you do things that other front men don't do or can't do, like the microphone tricks, you know, spinning the microphone and stuff like that. Did you actually practice that kind of thing, like getting it down to an art, or what's the story with that thing? You know, is it practice or what?
Well, you know, that was definitely inspired by Roger Daltrey from The Who. I'm not the first guy to do that for sure, but I do it at a higher speed than that.
It takes some training, probably.
Yeah. Well, the thing, I started playing in clubs. My first ever club show was in 1983 at Larry's Hideaway in Toronto. I was 14 years old, and I was like 6'3" when I was, you know, 14. So I've been playing and getting into clubs since I was very young. And I've had so many years to practice. Like that's 21 years ago. So I've been on stage for, you know, 21 years pretty much, and that's quite a long time to practice your art. So when I come out, you know, I'm coming out to kill.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
I want to come to New Zealand again, dude.
Yeah, man, you should.
Oh, you should.
We'll look after
definitely.
you. We'll make sure you're well looked after over here. You come over here and play a
It's
show.
having
Man.
fun.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I got a couple of platinum and gold records from New Zealand on my wall that I see every day. So
Wow.
I want to come back there.
Well, we're glad that we contributed to those.
Yeah,
I know
thank you.
I bought the Skid Row record about 3 times over. Once on record, once on cassette, once on CD. So
No,
Dude, that's like 45 cents right there.
I bought the CD, the first one, the first album, but that worn out, so I had to buy the second one.
That's cool, dude. Thank you.
okay, the internet. The internet's a big presence in the media today. How do you feel about music downloading and piracy and all of that thing?
Oh man, well, you know that's kind of awkward for me because I mean I got a big home and I got a wonderful life and I've, you know, provided well for my kids and I can't help but thinking that wouldn't have been the same case if I, you know, came out in the age of the internet, because, you know, like if your job was to make shoes and then all of a sudden there was a rule, all shoes are free, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
You'd be like, I ain't making shoes, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's different, you know, if it's part of what you are and stuff. But like when my son, he spends all his time downloading music and stuff, and I walk in the computer room and I'm like, you know, Sonny, those bands worked really hard on that music. You really shouldn't be doing that. He looks at me like, are you finished? Can you get the hell out of here? And, you know, it's like, because all of him and his friends, that's what they do. They download music, and they don't understand when I say that really it isn't right, you know. So, I don't know. It's kind of a messy situation, you know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
Cool. All right.
Okay, so you've been on the road for, well, a long time. What was the craziest thing a fan has ever done for you?
The craziest thing a fan has ever done.
Yeah.
Gee, I don't know, dude. There's a lot of crazy things that they do. Oh man, like one time I showed up at a radio station, and this fan had a brand new DVD player, like still in the package from the stereo store. She's like, "Here you go." I didn't even know what a DVD was back then. I was like, "What the hell is this?" I mean, they do a lot of crazy things, you know. Like one time, these chicks called the police and said that my sister was in the hospital, but my phone was out of service. So the police showed up at my house to tell me this, and then all the girls were out sitting in the car in front of the road, like, and I was like, "Dude, my phone is fine." And he like looked out, and they were like trying to find out where I lived and stuff like that. So
when you're playing concerts, when you're touring, I still like to, I don't know, kick back and party after the show, or
oh yeah.
are you more settled down these days?
Yeah, I never partied before the show, but after the show, you know, on a long bus ride, sure, I'll have some wine or whatever, you know. I still party.
Awesome.
Cool.
I don't drink beer anymore, though, unfortunately.
Why not?
Because it makes me too fat.
So when you come to New Zealand, what do we shout you?
I like red wine, man.
Red wine.
That's what I learned how to drink on the Jesus Christ Superstar tour, you know.
Oh, you're not the only one who beer has an adverse effect to.
Yeah, well, when I was 19, I could drink as much beer as I wanted, but I'm 36 now, so I gotta still try to fit in those black leather pants. So.
So you're kind of 18 in life all over again.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm still having fun, but I had to cut out the beer, and it sucks because I love beer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we should play another song here.
Right
Sebastian,
on, man.
give us another song.
18 in life.
It's a lot.
Fantastic.
I love this song. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about your songwriting. I mean, how do you get inspired? What do you do if you want to write a song? Do you sit down in a room? Does it just come to you, write it on a notepad? How do you do it?
Well, most of the time, like, I'll start with a title or a concept of lyrics, and I'll put down, you know, what I want to write about with a cool title or something, and then sometimes, like, I'll have a riff in my head, and then I'll hum into the dictaphone, like the riff for Slay to the Grind happened like that. I was just walking around humming it, and I hummed it into a dictaphone. But I don't really care. I'm not one of these guys that says I have to write the songs. I find that really stifling creatively to work with songwriters like that. And so, like, if somebody has a good idea, I'm very open-minded, and I don't really care, you know, like, who writes what. Like, I'll help out, or whoever has the best ideas for the song is what ideas will get in the song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, having Ralph in the band from Iced Earth, he has a wealth of ideas that we are working on right now and doing live in the show, and he's a real good addition to the band, actually.
I wonder what it sounds like, because Iced Earth, they are basically, well, a thrash metal band originally, and
well, it's not thrash
interesting.
metal. He's done 9 albums on his own, actually, like in guitar playing albums, and he's very melodic. It's heavy music, but with melody, you know, like Slave to the Grind, kind of.
So you still like heavy sound in the music. If you had a choice between, say, Broadway and heavy metal, if you had to pick one, what would it be?
It would be heavy metal, without a doubt. No doubt about it. Broadway pays more, and it's more of a steady job, but heavy metal is who I am, so
Cool.
Heavy metal makes me happier than money does.
What are your thoughts on the recording industry, like the worldwide recording industry? Do you think it's going places? Do you think that it's being stunted at all? Or
I feel sorry for the recording industry now, because they were caught out of step and out of time with the internet, and like the internet overtook the recording industry, you know. So I kind of feel bad for them, because they have to figure out how to survive in that. The thing is, musicians, we can play live and pretty much have the same kind of life that we always had, because nobody can take away the live experience. You know, you can't download that. Thank God.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't download me right in your face, screaming, swinging the mic at your head, giving you a free haircut.
Okay.
So I feel bad for them, you know, but if they can get a handle on the internet, you know, I think it'd be a good thing for everybody concerned.
So you've been through the media machine once with Skid Row, where you've like gone to the top of the pile. Do you think that it's a good thing? The media machine is a good thing, like how they'll take bands and exploit them and make them the top of the heap, and then just drop them like a bad habit. What do you think of the whole media machine?
Well, I think it's quite funny sometimes because I've seen so many bands come out that people say this is the future of rock, and like I can name them, like Nirvana and Nine Inch Nails and Rage Against the Machine and all these bands come and go, but the real mainstays are the heavy metal musicians because it's not hype driven or it's fan driven, so that's the people that really stick around. Like as far as alternative coming in and taking out all the heavy metal bands, the media loves to say that, but they forget to mention that for every Dave Grohl, there's a Chris Novoselic. and worse than that, a Kurt Cobain, I mean, like, I think that industry took itself out, literally, And so, like, I mean, where the hell is Pearl Jam? Like, I thought they were supposed to be like the Beatles or something, or Oasis or something. Where the hell are those guys? I don't know.
We were just talking to Dee Snider, and he said something I quite agree with. He said, where are the big bands, like the larger than life bands? There's very few of them around these days.
Well, they're playing at Ozfest, actually. That's where they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just saw last week Black Sabbath with Judas Priest, with Slayer, with Dimmu Borgir, with Slipknot, all on the same bill. And believe me, it was larger than life. It was huge.
Kind of sucks that we don't get Ozfest in New Zealand.
We got Noizz Fest in New Zealand. It's actually happening on Saturday, after tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I could come there, dude.
It's our little metal fest.
I want to come there.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah, cool. You can come play Noizz Fest. Yeah.
Cool.
No problem.
Yeah, if we will be reaching out by next year, I'll definitely invite the band.
Yeah, if we can
Thank
play
you.
together, yeah.
That's great.
We'll do our best. Okay. The old look, all the big hair and all that kind of thing. You think that it's still got a place today? You reckon it's old news now? Fashion's moved on. Like, do you think that it's cool when a band stays to its original look? Or do you think that maybe moving with the times is the way to go, otherwise you're going to fall behind?
I think that fashion has pretty much nothing to do with rock and roll, really, like real rock and roll. I mean, look at a band like AC/DC or Rose Tattoo. Like, I don't think they care what they look like. And believe it or not, I never cared what the hell I looked like. Like, people might think that I spent a long time in the mirror or something. Like, they don't know me. Like, like I don't even think about what I look like. I don't even think about it. I just go out and I buy some clothes and I put them on and then I sing a song and like there's no thought for me put into that. That's like, I'm not a model. I'm not like Madonna or something. I don't even care about the way I look, really. Or, like in Broadway, I cut my hair off, and fans were like, "You cut your hair," and I was like, I'm like, it's just hair, man. Like,
go back.
And I mean, who cares, really? Like, I don't even care about that kind of thing. I just care about music and all that kind of stuff, fashion, like. Once we're all dead, nobody's going to remember that kind of stuff. They're going to remember the CDs and the DVDs that we leave behind, That's a lot more interesting, I think.
Hey, we should play another song here.
Yeah, right on. Play, I don't know, God, we played a lot. Play Youth Gone Wild.
You've Gone Wild?
Yep.
Sure.
You got it.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, we might do the sting now, Sebastian. We just like something off you, like, hey, this is Sebastian Bach. You're listening to House of Noizz. So every time we play a Skid Row or a Sebastian Bach track, we can have you introducing it.
That's great. Okay. Hey, this is Sebastian Bach, and you are listening to the House of Noizz. Crank it up.
Yeah. Thanks.
Excellent.
Really appreciate it.
All right.
I'm gonna play some music tonight.
Yeah, gotta play some Skid Row. So how do people? What's the easiest way for people to get a hold of your CD, Sebastian? All your solo stuff. Is it through your website or?
Well,
how's the
it should
easiest?
be in the stores down there. I would assume it would be.
Distribution's very poor in New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We get the big Skid Row releases, but
Well-
we don't really see much. I don't think I've ever been in and seen a Sebastian Bach releasing.
No,
that.
that's-
Well, I've seen The Last Hard Man.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, it does suck, man. I mean,
well,
we gotta
the solo
constantly.
CD is called Bring 'Em Back Alive. It's got 5 solo songs and then live CD with it too. And then Forever Wild is the DVD. And I don't know, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Do you guys get Amazon.com?
Yeah. I'm
You
thinking.
can get it all there.
Yeah, everyone's kind of using that in New Zealand when they can't get a release locally, and it's
Yeah,
kind of a shame, you
Amazon.com.
know. The recording industry, well, not the recording industry, but the record companies and the distribution companies aren't really getting behind metal in New Zealand as much as they could, and that's what our radio station is hoping to change, you know. So
Good.
we're trying to make some changes for hard rock and heavy metal in New Zealand.
Yeah,
Well, I love what you're doing, man.
well, we're reasonably new. We've been on air for 3 years now.
No, I
A
know.
little bit of 3 years, and we're kind of trying to bring it back, you know, bring back heavy metal in New Zealand and build up this whole scene, because the problem is simply exposure, you know, that bands
Yeah.
don't get enough exposure here, and that's what we're about to change. We're going to change that. We're gonna
You guys
bring bands
rock,
over.
man.
Hey,
Thank you.
thanks. Hey.
Cool,
Thank you.
Sebastian. All right,
All right, guys.
I think we're pretty much done. So thanks very much for your time. We really appreciate it, and we're going to do our best to pump Sebastian Bach in New Zealand as much as we can.
Thank you very much, dudes. Great talking to you.
Thanks a lot for doing this interview for us.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have
Okay.
a good time.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Wow. He is cool, man. Sebastian Bach is cool.